Professional League of Legends has come to Florida. Across the world, 6 different teams have been crowned the champions of their regions. And this week, they will do battle in the first ever mid-season Invitational. Coming to you live from the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center at Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida. As you see here, there's a lot of hype in the crowd, a lot of energy in that building as teams prepare to do battle for the title of champions. Best in the world so far this year. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson, and we have assembled a team of league experts to break down the international action at MSI. Joining me from Oceania, we have Jake Spawn-Tiberi, who casts the English language LPL matches and also covered the International Wildcard Invitational. From the European LCS, we have the coach of the Unicorns of Love, Fabian Sheepy Millant. To give us the player's perspective, we have jungler Alberto Crumbs Rengifo, and finally from the North American LCS is Aiden Zyrene Moon. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me in what is promising to be a very exciting 4 days of League of Legends. Now, the world's top talent is at this event, and just moments ago, Yellowstar and Huni, with smiles on their face, along with their coach Daylor, as they prepare to face off against TSM in our first match of the day. Fevivin here, getting in a little time on the Rift before he has to make that stand against Bjergsen. On the other side of things, Lustboy and Wild Turtle, all with game faces on as they make their final plans, and Dyrus, last-minute strategies, of course. Now let's take a look at the tournament format for this brand new event. To start, the 6 teams will face off over 2 days in a round-robin group stage where each match is a best-of-1. At the end of that stage, the top 4 teams will be seeded into 2 best-of-5 semifinals, which will take place on Saturday. The winners of those matchups will advance to face off in Sunday's finals, where one team will emerge as the MSI champion. Competing at MSI are the #1 teams from each of the 5 premier regions and the winner of the International Wildcard Invitational. Things will kick off today with a brawl between Fnatic from the European LCS and Team Solomid from the North American LCS. That will be followed by IWCI champions Besiktas Esports Club from Turkey taking on Korea's SK Telecom T1. And then China's Edward Gaming will challenge AHQ Esports Club from the LMS. The teams will then continue to face off against one another through the end of the group stage tomorrow. There's also a new rule here at the MSI. Each team is required to bring one substitute with them, and as a potential competitive advantage, they can sub in a player prior to the start of the next game of a series. Now, to do that, they must notify the head referee right after the most recent game has ended and no later than 5 minutes after the explosion of the Nexus. In addition to our coverage, the action here in Tallahassee will be beamed out across the world and in multiple languages. Covering the games for their respective regions, here's the OGN crew from Korea: Caster Jun, Dongjun Kim, Cloud Templar, and Chobra. The LPL's Mila, Wawa, and Messiah are in-house for China, and Turkish host Ali Khan Atesh is here, and it looks like he's already interviewing Nardius from Turkey's TCL. Of course, we'll have our own casters on hand for the entire Invitational, so let's check in with them now.
Thank you very much, Dash. Hello, everyone. I am Rivington Bisson III, and joining me for the first 3 games today is going to be Trevor Quickshot Henry and Joshua Jat Leesman. Gentlemen, the top 6 teams from the best regions now respectively are going to clash heads here this weekend. Usually we have to wait to the end of a season to see these types of matchups. What are you looking forward to?
I want to jump in first because I'm super excited to see how Fnatic from Europe is going to match up against EDG from China. I kind of feel like the top teams from both regions have got this super crazy aggressive style. It takes a lot less to start a team fight in both Europe and China, and I want to see when they clash head-to-head, who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, Season 3 World Championship was won by a Korean team. Season 4 by a Korean team. This is almost like a mini World Championship right here. We had the IM World Championship where a North American team, Team Solomid, won, and I just can't wait to kind of reevaluate the balance of power between the regions, because it's the #1 team who won through the entire split from those regions.
I can't wait to see how these subs really get to affect the series. Something else everyone can look forward to is throughout the mid-season Invitational, if a player gets a pentakill or steals a Baron, that will trigger a bonus mystery gift in the store. This bonus will double your chances to gift someone a legendary or esports skin all the way through May 15th. Not too bad. That extends past the tournament a few days. So make sure to keep an eye out for a pentakill or a Baron steal to trigger that bonus in the store. And right now we also have Ifya Shocks Porter standing down in the interview lounge to get the story straight from the pros. So let's check in with her.
Thank you very much, Riv. Yeah, we are here in the interview lounge where we'll be talking to players, pros throughout the entire tournament and also offering some expert analysis. And for now, I'm joined by Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler and Christopher Monte Cristo Michaels. And well, Monty, as our resident Korea expert, I'd love to ask you about the rule set, the bringing of one sub for each team and how that will influence Korea and SKT especially.
Right. Ever since the Korean organizations went from the 2-team to the 1-team system, a lot of great players were still signed with the teams and ended up more or less on the bench. And since that point this season, we've seen a lot of teams attempt to use these substitutes to greater or lesser degrees of success. Najin struggling a little bit, but SK Telecom has, over the course of this season, developed a very impressive strategic play style using Easy Hoon for that control mage style and then Faker for the more assassin-based mids. So it gives them a lot of flexibility and some more tricky strategies in picks and bans.
I definitely agree. That's going to be a huge advantage for SKT because they've not only been able to diversify their strategic options, but also they've gotten to the point where they can even sub somebody in if someone is just having a bad series or someone's had a mental breakdown. Someone's got on the opposing team's gotten into their head. They can swap somebody out if they're just having bad games. No other team here has subs of that caliber that they really have that option. That being said, I hope that we don't see SK Telecom sub in all of the games because what people are really looking forward to is Pawn versus Faker. After Pawn said he's the best Korean mid laner, and Faker himself said he's looking forward to playing Bjergsen, another marquee matchup.
Yep. If that one happens, Bjergsen versus Faker, that would be the last game of the day, but there's tons of action coming before that as well. A lot to look forward to, so let's head back over to Dash over at the analyst desk.
Thank you, Shocks. As the teams get ready to take the stage and open the mid-season invitational, I want to turn to you guys and check in on what you're most looking forward to over these next 4 days.
I'm going to jump in here because I'm looking forward to how Korea performs because they lost 22 of their players, really, really good players too. Acorn, Pawn, Deft, Imp, Mata, all over the region. So how are they performing now? Because when you look at that region as a whole, we see space, we see ambition. People who were not really good at their role, like top tier, step up and be third in their role. And now it's like, how good is Korea really right now? And this, I think, is the first time in about 2-3 years that Korea's actually come to an international tournament, not the favorites, and with something to prove that they're still on top.
I'm looking forward to the picks and bans. I mean, in this meta, these teams' champion pools have never been deeper, and each region has their own cemented ideas as to which champions are high and low priority. And being an ex-player myself, I really want to see what region is right. Who's got it down as to which champion should be first picked, which champion is really a counter pick, or which one cannot be picked at all. That's what I want to see.
And what I want to see, too, is the adaptations, because it always happens in international tournaments. It's like, oh, Pawn's playing Jace at Worlds. Everybody has to bring it back out again. And if people are going to adapt to it and give way to that style.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I hope we will see a lot of fighting because so much diversity in the champion, in the strategic diversity. I'm looking forward to a lot of clashes, especially how aggressive the teams are against the control teams. Like AHQ, really aggressive, EDG, really aggressive, Besiktas, really aggressive, Fnatic. And SKT more of like control-y. So I will really see how they match up against each other, and I hope we see some upsets, some surprises.
Yeah, and just backing off the back of that, I really want to take a look at how the junglers and the support step up as a whole, because I think EDG arguably come in with the best jungler at the moment, and in my opinion, the best support as well in this tournament. Mako and Clearlove are going to team up, head around the Rift, and create a lot of pressure. And I think that teams like TSM that use Santorin and Lustboy to create these zones of control might have something to be able to shut them down, but I'm really interested to see how Yellowstar, how Dumbledore especially, can try and stop these guys from really taking over the map early, because they're absolutely devastating if they get going.
Well, without a doubt, a lot to look forward to in this tournament. It looks like everything is ready to go, so let's head to the stage at the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center for the opening ceremonies of the Midseason Invitational.